There you go. I just click a button.
I thought you did that like 8 times.
Is
it playing? I can't hear anything.
Button. No, it's playing now. It's like, oh, we're going. We're recording. But I haven't hit the button to play the song yet. So everybody shut up for 3 seconds.
You're listening to the Rough and Tumble Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mitch is back.
Oh, I'm so glad to be back. Fuck phones. Alexander Graham Bell can suck my dick.
Dude, yeah, I can't stand talking on the phone, and podcasting on the phone is even worse.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know, it feels great. The whole drive here, I was just like, I don't even give a shit what we talk about. I'm just happy to be talking into a microphone where I can hear myself.
Yeah. Lizzy Bop is back for another, hello. 3/4 of an episode, probably. She might have to leave.
Contrary to popular demand, we have let her back in the room.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry. That's what it's like to be a woman these days.
You just get whatever you want.
That's exactly what
That's exactly what she was saying earlier today, actually, to the dog. Teaching the dog.
Now you see why so many guys want to identify as females. They just want the fringe benefits that come along with it.
This is true.
I'm not going to touch that one.
You don't have to.
Yep. So, tell us about Colorado. How was it?
So,
what was it like? What language did they speak?
Everybody drives a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
No way.
Except me. And I found out the hard way. Me and my son, speaking of reasons I say that, so I have a giant lifted redneck Tundra that is 2-wheel drive, which serves no purpose in a situation like Colorado. Me and my son went and climbed the incline. So I climbed it twice. So if you're not familiar with what the incline is, it literally, when you get to the top, you're in heaven. Like, it's that tall because it's 2,700 steps, literally straight up a mountain. Why anybody would do it once is retarded. Why anybody would do it twice, like I did, is even, and you're just absolutely retarded.
Why did you do it twice?
Because my son wanted to do it, and I didn't want to tell him no because I didn't get to see him that often. And so he lives in Colorado Springs. And so he was like, he's lived there for 3 years. He's never done the incline. And he was like, Dad, let's go do the incline. And I was like, maybe we should just go to Chuck E. Cheese. You want to go to Chuck E. Cheese? He's
you
like,
should have just bought a pair of binoculars and been like, okay, son, go ahead.
All right, start walking on this treadmill.
I'll keep an eye on you.
And so we went and climbed that. It's pretty legit. But Manitou Springs is like Colorado's version of Hot Springs. Did you fuck something up?
Did you say men in two springs?
Manitou.
Manitou. Okay.
It's an Indian name.
I thought it was like 2 men in
Manitou.
Okay.
Like manatee.
Barbara, Manitou.
There you go.
Nobody watched VeggieTales?
Mm-mm. Okay. Bye.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Nope.
Never mind.
So Manitou Springs is a lot like Hot Springs as far as like the village that it is. And there's like shops and things like that. So we go to park and I parked behind this vehicle because everything's street parking. And I was like, oh, I'm a little too close to this vehicle. Let me back it up. And my wheels just started spinning in the snow that I was stuck on. So at that point, I told Skylar, this is where we live now. So let's go find an apartment because this is where we live now.
We're going to have to bunker down here.
Yep. And luckily, I was able to get out. But yeah, everybody drives 4-wheel drive. As far as the weather, it sucks. Not because it's shitty, but because it's completely unexpected. Like,
I love it.
Dude. Monday it was like 65 degrees, and then like Tuesday it was 0 degrees, and then for 2 days straight it wouldn't stop snowing.
It's just that's awesome. That's so great.
It really is.
I want so much snow.
Bad. It's not bad. It's bad here because of the humidity.
Yeah.
That's what makes it super cold. Like when I got here, I got home Saturday morning, 36 degrees outside. It felt 36. Mm-hmm. But I woke up one morning in Colorado at 0 degrees and was like, this isn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The last day I was there, it was like 27 degrees and this giant thick fog was all over the place, which coincidentally was also freezing on things. So I was walking to class and it was like ice was freezing on my face and I had to wipe it off. It was the weirdest thing. So dry boogers every morning.
Yeah, the air's real
just
dry.
chunks of blood shooting out of my nose. And now I'm addicted to crack because cocaine.
Cocaine.
Just to keep my sinuses open.
Yeah, we've had people ask about that actually because of all your sniffles.
Yeah, I know. I had like 50 people like, blow your nose, bro. I'm like, no, I didn't think about that. You're right. I'm not a 36-year-old adult who doesn't know how to blow his nose. You don't think I wanted to listen to myself do that either? Like, I had like one of my best friends was like, bro, blow your nose. And I'm like, that was it.
Next time, just do it on air.
I am.
As loud as you can.
Did you guys tell that I took a shit last time?
No.
You guys couldn't tell?
There was
No.
just like one plop, I think.
I was trying to whisper with my poops.
It's conspicuous.
I was like, I told my butthole to be quiet. It's normally really loud. But no, overall, the trip to Colorado was badass. The course itself that I went through, for those who don't remember, so I went to get my master certification in the Air Force Combatives Program.
Yeah. That guy that I was telling you about, there's a guy that, Tony Pazinski, that does like all of that stuff. He reposted the picture of you guys from your graduating class.
Was he there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
There wasn't a Pazinski in the class.
Yeah, I don't think so. But like he reposted it. It was like big congrats to these.
Oh wow.
These dudes for
well, yeah, because the big piece about it is that we are the first official class to complete this new course.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was really you got your master certification based off like experience and time and things like that. But now they've actually developed a 3-week course that is specifically designed to award that certification. And it was a pretty intense deal. I mean, I spent 3 weeks, 5 days a week, and one Saturday working 12 hours a day, literally getting my ass beat up all day long.
Yeah, that shit's exhausting.
Dude.
We do like, I'll do like a week-long session, about 8 hours a day with the cops. And that's just like, like 1 week, and by the end of it, you're just exhausted from mentally drained because you're having to like kind of stay on top of things all the time, making sure you're paying attention to details. And for me, a lot of times, like I'm answering questions and moving around. And it's just exhausting running through those motions.
We actually, Cole Miller was in so Cole Miller was there. I've talked about this a few times. If you guys, again, don't know who he is, you Google him. Really, really awesome guy. Very intelligent too, surprisingly. I don't know why I said surprise. He's going to hear this and be like, what the fuck? But
yeah, when I look at him,
you just look at him
what
like,
an idiot.
This
But now...
really changed my tune.
Honestly, to me, he looks and talks like an intelligent person.
Dude, he really is a super smart guy. He promoted a guy to brown belt at the graduation ceremony.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was super cool.
So did that guy come with him, or was
he was in the class?
He was in the military, and was he like training with Cole, or did he?
Yeah, so that guy's name is Nick, and he was stationed in Georgia where Cole's school is.
Okay.
And he trained under Cole for a couple of years. Well, now he's stationed in Colorado Springs. And so he is actually part of the reason that Cole was able to come to that class.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because Cole does a lot of like civilian defensive tactics stuff there in Georgia with the local police and the different agencies there. Cole's really into shooting courses and tactical self-defense stuff.
Yeah.
And so when he found out about it, Nick vouched for him and was like, hey, this guy is legit. He's a second-degree black belt under Laboria. Everybody kind of knew who he was anyways.
Right, yeah.
And so they brought him in, and it was a huge value to the whole course. We actually used him as a subject matter expert to work on some of the wall techniques that we were doing, where, you're slammed and pinned against a wall with the sidearm or something like that, like how to use the pummeling to get out and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's like criminally undercovered doing wall work for police and military, because there's walls literally everywhere.
Literally everywhere. And whether you want to think about it or not, or whether you want to, or whether you consciously think about it, 9 times out of 10, if there's a wall around, most people will drive you to that wall. Yeah. Just out of instinct.
I've goofed around. I mean, like just playing around in a parking lot or whatever. And I've noticed things like a car, right? Like having somebody runs you into a car, they're going to bend you over that car. Like you're going to bend backwards over the hood or whatever. Things like being able to sprawl your hips and doing that kind of running man defense can stop that from happening. Just little simple things. But
I didn't realize that you rolled in your uniform. I thought I didn't think about that. It makes sense, but it was interesting. Johnny's like, yeah, sometimes they roll in their boots too.
Yeah. We didn't do any of the training in the boots due to safety. But there was an entire week where we did the special warfare combatives for the special warfare guys, where we had to wear full kit. So we had helmet, armor vest, and then we had an M4 and a M9 side piece that we carried during all the training event stuff. It was really, 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 really hard to move in most of that stuff. Like you really gain a perspective.
Yeah.
One of the biggest perspective changes that I had was, you know, I spent years under the Gracie family doing the Gracie self-defense stuff, or I shouldn't call it Gracie self-defense stuff, the traditional jiu-jitsu self-defense stuff that we all do, you know, like the headlock, all that stuff, right? You learn real quick under these scenarios that we placed ourselves in under a full-fledged attack. So much of that shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
So much of it is bullshit. And I'm sorry for the guys out there listening that are still involved in that community. I'm here to tell you, you can practice that shit all you want, but I promise you, when you're placed into a scenario where somebody is legitimately trying to dispatch you from this world, less is more. Less is a lot more. And that's something that I learned over these 3 weeks. And it really reinvigorated my interest in the self-defense combatives realm. Like the idea of like going back, like, I'm sure you know the same knife defenses that I know, right? You take them to the Kimura position or whatever, you know, all these fancy, cool little things that you learn. None of that works when somebody has a shock knife trying to stab you in the stomach.
Dude, we did like a whole week of knife defense stuff, and I ended up just fucking arm dragging everybody when it came down to the shock knives.
And so what's funny about that,
dude, I'm a single leg you.
Yeah, that's exactly what one of the techniques that we were learned was, you know, this whole, I'm going to switch your shoulder and bring you do all this cool shit that you see in Jason Bourne movies.
Yeah.
No, the reality is you're going to block the elbow as hard as you can and arm drag. Like so we learned 2 defenses that one of them utilizes the arm drag.
I've always kind of used the example that like, or the idea that stuff isn't unusable. That stuff is, a lot of that stuff does work, but it's such a fine tuned skill that it's not going to be effective in a real life scenario unless you're a complete master at it.
100%.
It's a little bit like taekwondo and karate. Like a lot of it is just kind of wasted movement and technique. And like you look at some of these people, you're like, dude, you're not in shape to run around the block,
right? Much
less kick me in the head. But then you see some of these people who are complete masters at their technique, and they make it truly dangerous, and they're able to make it effective. It's not something that you can teach in a 3-week course.
No. And
people understand the timing and the movement of it, you know, like, and realistically, like a lot of that, we could probably hit a Kimura off of somebody trying to stab us or whatever, you know, if we went to it or whatever, decided to, you could probably, and kind of the idea, like in a street fight, you could probably berimbolo somebody, you know, like, If you chose to, you could probably berimbolo somebody and take their back and choke them out in a street fight. Would it be smart? No, not a good idea. But because you've done it that much and we can control people at that level, then it'd be fine. But when it comes down to like teaching cops, teaching military personnel, here's a 3-week course. You better have this mastered by then.
Keep it simple.
Yeah,
keep it simple.
Just stupid simple.
And the reality is if you're not training your officers, you know, and that's a realm that you and I are trying to work ourselves into, and not because for any monetary gain, if there is any to be had, but because that's a population of the community that goes out every day. You and I, we go looking for opportunities to use our skills competitively, right? We go find competitions, MMA fights, whatever. We have to go look for opportunities to employ our skills. Those guys wake up every day with the possibility of having to employ those skills unwantingly.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a scary probability. But speaking of self-defense, Lizzy, have you ever taken any sort of like women's self-defense outside of your relationship with Jonny? Have you ever taken any sort of like...
I make her practice self-defense.
Well, because you went to college, you know, and I know that a lot of colleges offer those types of like symposiums and programs for like women's self-defense for campus security and stuff. But in your time, have you ever been involved in or taken any sort of women's self-defense classes?
The only thing that I've done that actually mattered was at Johnny's gym.
Yeah.
That's it.
Are you just saying that because you guys have sex?
Who said that we have sex?
Yeah. We've never admitted to that, actually.
How dare I assume? You guys are, what do they call it? A domestic partnership?
Yeah.
No, I had one like, so we had a tactical thing when I started work at the hospital that I work at, and it was completely unuseful and something that I don't think anyone would actually do. So when you're being attacked, you're not supposed to attack back. And I think most people have to. Like, you have to use self-defense. Like, even if it is a patient, like, if someone is coming at you.
Oh, I see. So, like, if you're being attacked by, like, a patient,
right.
you're not supposed to attack. I got
right.
you. I got you.
There's certain things, like, if someone bites you, like, you can,
You can say no. And then.
instead of, like, drawing your arm back, you're supposed to hit them with your arm. And
do they teach you to hit them in the nose like a dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the most useful thing I've learned so far. They taught us this stance to use. If someone like starts pushing us, we're supposed to put one leg back instead of both legs on the same
so like
plane.
an athletic stance.
Yeah, but nothing like actually useful that we would actually use.
Did you find that like that? Because when you talk about that athletic stance, that's fairly useful. But I think what you're getting at is that the majority of the program was fairly unuseful.
Basically.
Yeah.
We're also in an eye clinic, so we're not dealing with like the general hospital population.
Yeah, because they can't see, so you can actually get away easier.
We're an outpatient. We're not an inpatient, so a lot of the patients we see aren't. They're still mentally capable.
They drove to see you.
Right.
They got into a vehicle.
Well, some of them.
All you have to do is just not say Polo when they say Marco.
Yeah, and they're never gonna find you.
Yeah, they're not that blind.
Or if you really want to confuse them, just say Polo again, and then they'll just start going in circles.
What was the commercial where it was like actually Marco Polo in the pool, and he was like, Marco, see?
What in your opinion, what would make for a good women? So, dismissing the fact that, because Hillary Williams and I have had this conversation before, and I agree with Hillary. Mm-hmm. Hillary is a specimen in the fact that she is extremely intelligent and has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is not very common to have a lady in her position speaking on this, right? And so I don't mean
it's
that.
It's not common to have a human that is doing
there you go
level of things that she's doing, because she's like an artist. She's
a really good artist too.
Literally everything.
I didn't know she was an artist.
Oh
you go girl.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually had the chance to meet Hillary a couple weeks. The first week that she was in our clinic, because she's in neurology.
Yeah.
And I work in neuro-ophthalmology, so she did a
Makes
2-week
sense.
rotation with us. And for the first week, she was in our clinic, and I liked her a lot. She's really strange, and I liked that. She was also really outgoing and cool.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we got into conversation, but never did jiu-jitsu or anything like that come up.
And you'll find that most of us don't, like, Jonny and I have a podcast so that we can talk about jiu-jitsu, because we don't want to talk about it with anyone else.
Yeah.
Outside of this.
Well, for some reason, I came home and I don't remember how I got on the subject, but I found out that she was like.
I had brought it up randomly. Because remember, I came home and like I just randomly, I was like, oh yeah, I think Hillary works at UAMS or whatever.
Oh yeah. And then I looked her up, and it was like, oh yeah, she's like a jiu-jitsu world champion. I'm like, what the fuck? I had no idea. So the next week she came back to our clinic. I was like, are you like a jiu-jitsu world champion? And she's like, yes. And I'm like,
yeah, she's like, thanks for bringing that up.
So anyway, but yeah, she's really cool. I like her.
One of the opinions that she has, and that's what I was kind of getting at earlier, and I have the same opinion, is this idea that if you offer a women's self-defense program once a quarter, and let's say that you attended, that was almost disastrous. I almost knocked my drink over.
Good.
And it's actually just my urine. So if you have a women's self-defense program that you're offering once a quarter, so 4 times a year, repetitiously, that is not enough for someone to become, right?
No.
So, and I agree with Hillary on that. And the program that we learn about in combatives, which we refer to as the personal protection module, is almost 60 to 70% academic. And then the other percentage is actually hands-on. And so most of it, and I'm looking forward to bringing this to my unit, and offering it to men and women on Little Rock Air Force Base, and hopefully eventually civilians as well. But a lot of it is academic based, meaning like, here are the things to identify when you're being groomed, whether you know you're being groomed or not, right?
Oh, yeah.
Grooming behaviors. Preventative. So we call it left of bang as opposed to right of bang, right? So right of bang being after action, right? So you've had an incident occur. Now you are learning how to report that incident after the fact, right? The left of bang mentality is being proactive. How can we identify these things that are taking place? How can we put ourselves into positions to be less likely to be victims, right? And I don't mean when you're dealing with a situation where you're at a party and some guy takes you as a victim, right? I'm talking about even outside of the sexual assault realm, in the fact that my fiance is walking through Walmart and she notices that the same guy is in the same aisle with her over and over again. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we talk about is if you start to notice something like that, right? And you're checking out at the cash register, and let's say there's another young lady in the cash register line with you. Turn around. Hey, I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be weird, but I think there's a guy that's been following me around. Do you mind if we walk out together? Right?
So we can both be kidnapped together.
Well, the reality is that, if you've got 2 adult women with multiple kids, right? So that's more targets. There's a bigger opportunity of being noticed, right? So just something as simple as that, right? Giving women these, men and women, the academic piece of being able to identify these things and how you can make yourself less of a target, right?
I think grooming, I just wanted to speak on that real quickly. Grooming is very important, and it's important to know that if you have been abused or sexually abused, physically abused, you're likely to have that occur once, twice, 3 more times. It happens more than once in your lifetime for most people statistically. So predators are looking for certain things in people. They look for where your eyes are looking when you're walking, how your shoulders are back, how you talk to people, how you hold your hands. There's a lot of things that people will look at when you are in a public situation, and they're looking for that. So whether you are or not, some people are looking for you.
Absolutely.
So.
Otherwise they wouldn't be repeat offenders. And then even going into the workplace, right? The behaviors of grooming within the workplace of, there's different things where they may find out, like for military, for instance, you don't have any family here. You're isolated from your family. I understand what that's like. I'll tell you what, if you ever need to talk about it, here's my number, right? That's the beginning. And then it turns into texting. Hey, I just wanted to call and check on you. I just wanted to give you a quick text, see how you were doing. I know it's the holidays and you're not around, and now they're gaining your trust. And then it comes to something as simple as telling you a secret, right? Something that they don't want other people to know. Hey, I'm sorry to call you like this, but me and my wife are just having problems. Please don't tell anybody. And now we've developed this secret that we hold together. And now you have even more trust. You start feeling sorry for the person. And then it turns into going sexual, maybe through a text. Maybe they've had too much to drink, quote unquote. They send you a text. And then now the ball's in your court. How do you react? So you say, hey, that's not really what we're trying to do here. Well, now what do? They turn around the next day and go, hey, I'm really sorry about that. I just had a lot to drink last night. It was an accident. I promise I'll never do that again. But if you go in a positive perspective, or let's say you don't even respond positively, but you respond in a way that is not an absolute no. Now there's that shadow of a doubt in their mind. So now they're looking at it going, like the Dumb and Dumber quote, right? You're telling me there's a chance.
Right.
Unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
So then those are all grooming behaviors that need to be identified. And I've had conversations with different members who I've told these things to, and you see the light go off. Like, oh my God, either that's happening to me right now, or I've seen that happen in the course of, So those are the things that, from a personal protection module standpoint, those are the things that the Air Force Combatives program focuses a lot on, the education piece, but then also provides some hands-on stuff, like how to get out of restraints if someone uses duct tape, zip ties, how to get out of a trunk if you get placed into a trunk during a trafficking scenario, like, learning how to actually do those things. If you get approached in a parking lot and you're holding groceries, how do you load the groceries? What do you put in first? How do you position your body in relation to the individual? Things like that. Also, if you think that putting keys between the knuckles of your hands is going to work, please chop your own hands off. Seriously. Because we had to do some things with improvised weapons and stuff. That is a really, really fast way to break your own hand and do 0 damage to your attacker. Yeah. So
that's, yeah.
Do you think pepper spray is a useful tool?
Here's yes and no, and here's why. So I say yes and I say no.
It doesn't always work.
Not only that, statistically speaking, 90% of the time when you use pepper spray, guess what it happens to you? It also gets it in your eyes as well. So they actually teach you, typically I would tell a woman to preferably not use the spray or the fog, that they make a spray gel that will stick to your attacker's face and eyes. Because what if you're holding a baby and you're like, no, and you spray, and now it hits them, blows into yours and your baby's eyes. You're inhaling it. So now it's just one big clusterfuck of people just swinging at each other and not getting hit by cars and stuff like that. So, but those are things that's again back to the education piece, right? To the average person, pepper spray is enough. And then they put peppers, and then you tell somebody, well, what happens if it's a windy day and it blows back into yours and your kid's eyes? Now you're just as much of a victim as you were before, and
there's a lot of people that pepper spray just doesn't work on.
And exactly. Or it works, but not enough.
Dude, one of the funniest things that I've ever seen was whenever, is my volume okay?
Yeah, I can.
I hear you.
You hear me? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. When we did the recruit training and all of that stuff, they have to get pepper sprayed and tased, and the first one was like they get pepper sprayed, then they have to shoot a target and their gun jams and reload and blah 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 blah. So they were all told, like, when you're rinsing your eyes out when you're done, you need to be careful. Like, you need to make sure that you hang your head over the bucket or whatever. This guy goes running over to the water and he starts spraying his eyes, and he took his shirt off whenever afterwards, takes his shirt off, sprays his eyes, the water, all of it runs down his shorts.
Oh no.
And starts getting he runs butt ass naked back to his car trying to find an extra change of clothes.
Dude, well,
he's like stripping the whole way.
You have all these different glands and membranes in those areas, and that stuff's designed to attack those membranes as well.
I think most men have had the icy hot.
Yeah.
The icy hot challenge.
Yep. Whether by choice
That's
or by
be the next
peer
YouTube
pressure.
Trend.
I hope it is. I honestly do. I hope
Speaking of trends, we have officially started a trend of the thirsty girl.
Have we?
Posts. Yeah. So I've had 2 people actually. Oh, I got to remember who the second one is, but 2 people have sent me thirsty girl quotes.
I have a couple of thirsty girls that I saved on my phone for one such episode.
Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about thirsty girls on Instagram. Not
you
the
mean
ones
just
that you saved. You made that sound like you've got a couple
no
thirsty girls in your
quotes.
Yeah, I got you.
Actually, I think I mentioned them on the last podcast. They were all making fun of Mackenzie Dern.
Oh yeah,
they said if she would practice more double legs and less selfies, that she might actually be able to.
This one is one of my students, Rachel, sent it to me. She said, "This one's for you, Mitch. Happened upon this little nugget of a thirst trap gold." And so this is the picture. It's Paige Van Zant's booty.
Yep.
Covered, like they're like
in like mud.
Covered in mud and stuff. Oh, that's right. You've seen it. And she's with her boyfriend. In the comments, somebody, he says, "I'd rubber poop all over me." And then VHR Nick says, "She's quote unquote, I want to eat the corn out of her shit type hot." And then somebody just puts, I don't understand this quote, and I'm kind of afraid to do this now. They just said, "Look up the Dead Sea." Like,
what?
I don't know if that's going to suddenly explain what they're talking about.
No, I think that guy's just being a troll. I think that maybe they're at the Dead Sea.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think
that's the picture.
You can rub the mud on you.
I got you.
Yeah.
So that guy's he's being a buzzkill, is what he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That would be like me in the
fuck off,
comments,
dude.
like,
Yeah, that's
"You
Lizzy.
idiots."
That's Lizzy going, "Listen here, you ingrates."
Yeah, that's too much. I wonder what's
that
going
corn
through their
comment
head.
is so funny.
There was there's another, right, the day after our last episode, episode 10, there was a report that came out about Mario Hayes. I don't know if that's how you say his last name. Nicholas Marigoli's coach, kicking all the girls out except for like one girl out of their competition team because they weren't tough enough.
That's fair.
Not because the girls in particular weren't tough enough, but because
Those individuals.
No. But because girls.
Oh.
Not those individuals, but because girls
in general. So he
general
made a
can't
generalization.
take it.
I was gonna
Right.
ask, is there like a checklist of like
If it were an individual situation where like, dude, every time you come in, you're crying and you like whine and sit on the wall. Yeah, kick them out.
Right.
But this is like,
What do you
women aren't strong enough.
What do you mean kick them out? Like kick them off the
Well,
team
off
forever?
the team.
Off the,
Well,
you know,
unless they
like,
can read.
you can't come to competition class. You need to go back to normal classes
Oh.
Yeah,
whenever you've kind
Well,
of.
then why offer it in the first place?
Well, you can offer it initially because you have men and women's divisions. Like he was trying to create a not orthoscopic. That's when you put something in your butt. Isn't it?
That was exciting.
Well, that was whole lot of things. Orthoscopic?
No, I was trying to think of the word where it's like, it's like an overview, like a wide reaching.
Like men and women?
Yeah, like a wide reach. Anyway, when you make to make a diverse team, all right, we're going to make a diverse team.
None of that. No. None of that sentence made any sense.
Okay, Jonny, you explain.
Okay.
You ever like walk into a sentence and you just can't like back out of it?
Yeah,
Mitch, you're done.
You keep tumbling down the hill. So most gyms.
So this is competition team.
Right.
Okay.
Most gyms competition team is kind of an invite only thing, right? Like we invite, whoever. He apparently made the generalization that women aren't strong enough, aren't tough enough to be on the team. However, he had one girl that he felt was. Oh. He kicked all the girls out of the competition team. They have to go back to normal classes. And he even had there's a couple female world champions that were training that he kicked out, I guess, because they weren't.
But he did keep one
enough.
girl.
Yeah. And I guess, I don't know.
So maybe he's right. I mean, maybe they weren't.
Right? Maybe those individuals weren't. Yeah. But I think the big uproar.
It sounds to me like he made a comment that got taken out of perspective.
It absolutely could have.
For him, because I mean, it's contradicting the comment by saying that women in general are not tough enough. Yeah. However, I'm going to keep this woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I think maybe it was a comment that was maybe taken out of perspective and overblown. Doesn't make the comment right.
I don't know. I couldn't quote what his exact comment was, so I can't speak to that. So, but yeah, like.
There was a huge uproar about it.
Yeah.
Well, because that's a conversation that has been had. So in the last 4 or 5 years, they have allowed, because prior to this, women were not allowed to serve in combat roles, right? Yeah. They just weren't. It was not allowed. Well, they've since changed that. So now women can be Navy SEALs, women can be pararescuemen, women can be combat controllers, TACPs, etc. The standards, however, will not change.
Correct. Yeah.
So the reality is that they have opened the career fields to allow women to assess, but they are not going to make men and women standards, because the standards that they have, the physical fitness standards, et cetera, they are not based off of a man's ability to do something. They're
across the board.
Right.
They are based off of the job and what is necessary, because men fail all the time through all these different pipeline courses. So everyone has to meet the exact standard, because these are battlefield proven standards, not men and women diversity standards.
Yeah.
They've had 2 women try out for naval special warfare training for SEALs. Neither have made it. They had a young lady that tried out who I had to look at the update, but there was one female that was supposed to be the first female Air Force TACP, which TACPs, their job is they embed with traditional Army units and provide close air support. They call in airstrikes for Army. Mm-hmm. So like they are the air liaisons to the Army. I don't know that she made it. I think she was close and then quit. And that's typically what they're finding, is that the women who have tried out, it isn't that they aren't able to meet the physical demands per se. It's that a lot of them come to the realization that they don't want to meet the physical demands. Once they're there, they realize this just isn't for me. Yeah. Like I'm just not going to be able to do this for the rest of my life.
And that's fine.
And that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, men would probably have that same realization.
And the attrition rate at Buds is like 67%, which means that 67% of the men who show up go, this is not for me. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing wrong with a woman saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But in this respect, with this competition team, that's kind of, I feel like Reyes meant it, or Hayes, or Mahio,
yeah,
whatever, meant it in the sense that like we're talking about with this combat role with women, but maybe it got blown out of proportion, because people could listen to this podcast and go, Jesus Christ, Mitch, are you just anti-feminist? Like you don't think women can be Navy SEALs either?
They could say,
no, you absolutely can.
Say that about almost everything.
Absolutely. But the reality is that maybe his standards were this, and I don't know. I didn't hear about the story.
I can't wait till I try to run for mayor or something, and this all comes back on me.
Yep. I can't. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah.
Not
Obviously,
for you.
Jonny Wester is going to be the first pick for
2022.
Mayor
anything is possible.
Conway.
That's right. All things are possible. All things are possible through Christ our Lord and Savior.
I'm not going to touch that
triggers
one.
right now.
So we actually did. We had a question too. We've got a couple questions.
Before you get to that,
yep.
because I was going to tell this in the beginning of the podcast.
Oh no.
No,
And it's really.
Oh god.
Oh, are you guys
strap in?
Are you guys strapping in because of my long ass winded stories?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be that long.
Let's go.
Yeah.
If we just like get through it, we can move on.
Oh
okay.
man, I hope you guys both get blisters on your feet. So I went to IHOP for breakfast this morning with my family
Oh god.
and ran into. Is that a trigger as well?
No,
we can't talk about
my
IHOP.
life. Everything I say. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Literally everything.
No wonder he talks to me so much.
Yeah.
Because I'm like this. I'm always like, that sounds amazing.
We went.
No matter what the story is.
We went and looked at
No.
houses, and this house that we looked at, we have like a whole acre in the back, and there's like woods and stuff. And naturally, there's like a little trail in the woods. So
Where you can make a treehouse.
what the fuck am I gonna do? I walk off in the woods, and
Yeah.
I hear her go, "Oh my god, Bob."
Me and the realtor just kind of
Here we
like
go.
stood there, and I was like, "Yep, he's gone.
He'll be back in a little bit.
Yeah.
He'll probably come back with a puppy.
Yeah.
Let's go see the rest of the house."
But so someone that I used to work with, him and his family sat in the booth behind us, and so we're leaving. Oh, sorry for the sniffle, guys. I just sniffled. So
Thank
Damn
you.
it! I wish I had the sound effects queued up. Oh, damn it! Okay,
and so I had to go put the kids in the car while we waited on the ticket. So I
How many
left.
kids were with you?
I had
15,
3, 4. I had 4 of the.
What a fucking nightmare.
Is your wife
That's
just
awesome.
perpetually pregnant?
I don't have a wife. I have
Your
a live-in.
fiance?
Like
You
going
live
to
in-
IHOP with that many kids.
My kids are really well behaved. So
Well, yeah, but then think of all the other kids that are there, and then they start like communicating.
nope.
That happened last time we were there, and it was just
That's because
like,
you probably were hanging around with a lot of shitty kids.
It was
Yeah, there were a lot
Yeah.
of shitty kids.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
want to hear the rest of your story.
Yeah, so no, my kids are fairly well behaved, so we don't actually have problems with ours. So I left, took the kids, put them in the car, and my fiance waited on the check, and my friend's kids told her that they thought I was John Cena.
Yes. Yes.
Da-da-da.
Oh, it's not working now.
You played. That's what made me think of the story because you played it right before we started recording.
I don't know what's going on. It's not working. I'm
Great.
broken.
Great. We need to.
You
Anybody?
had one opportunity.
One chance. I was trying to give it to you. But yeah, so she gets in the car and she was like, hey,
I fixed it.
Better late than never.
yeah, she got in the car and she goes, your buddy's kids thought you were John Cena.
That's
And I was
so
like, I don't even
beautiful.
fucking look like John Cena.
I saw him in an ad the other day, and
that
I
was me?
almost just reposted it to the. Like, I'm just gonna start pulling posts from John Cena's Instagram and funneling them straight through ours.
It was time. Oh, and so while I was in Colorado Springs, I met my son's girlfriend. We all went out for dinner and stuff like that. I dropped her off back at her house, and we were talking. Me and my son were talking about the podcast because he listens to the podcast. And he said, "Oh yeah, Dad, my girlfriend's parents think you look like John Cena."
Yes.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's confirmed.
That's awesome. Hell yes.
Of all the celebrities that I would like to look like, I'm not saying he's an unattractive guy, but like the more I look at him, the more I'm like, I don't know.
You can't pick. I mean, it
Yeah,
is what
that's
it
right.
is.
You can't pick your doppelgangers, that's for sure.
There's I can't even remember what Instagram it is, but there's like a jiu-jitsu guy out there that does like, the technique videos or whatever, and he looks exactly like me.
That makes sense.
Creepy. How
Well,
I
I've
find
got
him.
you all beat because I look like everybody.
yeah.
That's
That
true.
is-
You are fairly generic.
Yeah, I am the most
I don't
generic
think so
face
at all.
of all time.
I could say that you have a Natalie Portman look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
every place that I ever work at, I'm always looking like two different celebrities all at the same time. And patients will come in, and I'm always looking like their granddaughter, their daughter, their daughter's friend. My personality is exactly like him. They could swear. Do I have family in Arkansas?
I like the creepy person
No,
that said that you
I
look like
don't.
their daughter's friend.
Yeah. Your personality is just like hers. Your hair is just... And I'm like,
Just like hers was.
I don't know what to tell you. That's happened to me at least, I would say at least 10 times. It doesn't matter where I go, if I'm on a cruise. Like, I went on a cruise, and we were in Europe at the time, and someone from the UK came up to me and asked me that. I'm like, no. I am me. There's nobody else.
What
like
color
me.
are your eyes?
Brown.
Is that your natural eye color?
Mhm. Why?
You stop looking at my girlfriend's eyes.
It's,
I always get told that I have an accent. I always get asked if I have an accent.
You have an anti-accent.
You have like some.
Right? I feel like it's just kind of a very
The way that you pronounce certain letters, your vowels are different.
it's strange.
I never looked into it that much.
Wait, what color are your eyes?
My eyes are blue.
Oh.
Fucking cut it out.
What color do you think they were?
Well, they're kind of dark right now, so
Yeah.
I didn't know.
They change colors based on my mood.
Right
Oh,
in front
God.
of me. Unbelievable.
You want to guess what mood it is? No,
Anyways,
your eyes kind of look like whenever when vampires from that.
Red. They look red.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
They're red.
When you
My
feast
eyes
on
are red?
human,
I'm actually a
hers.
vampire.
your eyes are
Yeah.
red.
From the from this angle, it looked like she was hungry.
No, Johnny's the one that's always hungry.
That's true. So we had somebody that
Let's
asked
move on.
Scott, one of our sole fan that we claim because he found us on Reddit and he likes us.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Everybody else knows us and has to listen.
Oh,
So he's
so
our actual only real fan.
This is an organic
I think
fan.
we honestly have a couple.
We grew this fan
um,
from the ground.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's from the ground up. But he was asking, he's about to compete for the first time in jiu-jitsu, and he's asking for tips, which is a pretty,
Is he a white belt?
yeah,
Okay.
it's a pretty generic question, but I feel like I might have some.
Yeah,
Well,
me too. I feel like I
pretty-
could definitely answer this.
Oh
question.
yeah, I have a.
Let's go for it. What's
some
the question?
Interesting advice. I just asked.
He already asked the question.
Oh,
That lets us know that you do not know how to answer this question.
Advice, but you're gonna give advice
I'll definitely
anyways.
give my advice.
Yeah.
Advice for first-time competitors in jiu-jitsu.
So what would you say, Johnny? What would you give?
First of all, it's a person by person basis.
Right.
For me, the best when I compete best is whenever I decide that I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm like, man, I don't, I just want to have fun. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And if I don't choose and what gets me in that mood is I do things like I don't choose walkout music. I don't,
What did you walk out to at the?
I don't know, some generic douche rock.
Party in the USA.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I didn't choose music. For
Oh, they
that
just chose it
because-
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found that out whenever I fought MMA. I was like,
Mhm.
every time I chose my music, I was like, damn it, why do I keep losing every time I choose these
Yeah.
badass songs?
Well, it's because when you don't choose your music, they choose Linkin Park for you,
I came out to Fort Minor
Fort Minor.
100 times, dude.
which is basically Linkin Park.
yeah, that's probably the most common. But anyways, if just whatever, the results already there, you know what I'm saying? Like you've already done the training and you worrying about it isn't going to change how you trained for it. So you might as well just have fun. And it's really tough to do, and it's really tough to get yourself in that mindset, but that's important just to be able to have fun. And I know other competitors too that they get in that fierce, they're slapping themselves before they compete and stuff.
What? I've never seen that.
Oh, yeah, it
People are
happens all the
slapping
time.
themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It actually has physiological value.
Kind of gets your
Um,
adrenaline up, and
Yeah, so your body will naturally
Who's being that serious about
lots of
lots
people
of people.
in
Really?
multiple sports, not just in jiu-jitsu.
it? Well,
like-
I thought we were just talking about
No.
all the jiu-jitsu matches I've seen. Nobody's over there just slapping themselves.
Yeah, for the most part.
You'll see it at the IBJJF events.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe a bigger
Brazilians that
Yeah.
this is everything to them. you
Well,
know,
I can
and,
understand
stuff
that.
Well, usually the reason you don't see it at AGF is because they're American competitors and they're usually just trying to finish up their hot dog or something like that,
Yeah.
or their pulled pork sandwich.
There's also this trend going on of oh, I care the least kind of thing. I'm gonna try
Jiu-jitsu's gone emo.
yeah, I'm gonna try less than you and just kind of sit down and
Oh, no
I don't care. Yeah,
The Jeff Glover approach.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's it's really obnoxious.
It super is. And so what you're saying is just try to develop an attitude
it's
of
generic
just,
advice, but
it
just have
is
fun.
but still yeah.
Yeah, it's important. That's honestly it's cliche. It sounds generic, but that's the number one thing for me is when I don't take it so seriously, I do my best.
So when I give advice to young white belts who are competing for the first time, I never really try to give them advice on what their mindset should be.
Mhm.
I just give them advice on what to expect.
Yeah, that's true too.
And so I let them know right off the bat that it's going to be 5 minutes of a car crash because you're not going to remember anything. You're not going to remember what to do. You're not going to remember to breathe. It's going to literally feel like that individual is jolting and shaking you around like a car rolling down a hill. None of it's going to make sense. And then afterwards, you're going to feel like you weren't in good enough shape. But the reality of it is that you are. That's all part of that adrenaline dump.
Hopefully you are.
Right? So I always tell students like, hey, look, man, like you just have to get past the first one. That's it. So understand that as soon as you shake hands, it is going to be extremely violent, unrelenting, and none of it's going to feel like there's any technique. You're going to think that you did all these amazing things, and then you're going to go back and look, and it was just two guys running around in circles holding on to each other, right?
I've seen white belts, like
just
when I used to ref,
and spin.
they pulled guard from like literally across the mat.
Yes. Or they grab a hold of each other and just start spinning in circles, trying to do the way that your brother used to try to take you down,
Get to the back.
Yep. And that's what you're going to feel. And then you're going to feel really out of shape because you're going to forget to breathe. But that's the whole nobody ever goes into their first competition ready for it. And then I tell people also, if you win, then you didn't do anything right. And here's why I say that. Because if you win your first competition, you literally lose out on all the possible learning items and rudiment things that you could have learned because you most likely won on accident. Right?
Yeah. Or there's a lot of like matchups that are
that just don't work out
that are just not fair.
And then you go into your next competition with a false sense of confidence, and then you get destroyed, and now you're dealing with it after an elation versus dealing with it after a crushing moment.
Yeah.
You never want to climb the top. You never want to get dropped off at the summit of a mountain and then fall down the side of the mountain. You want the feeling of ascending the mountain. Right. And getting to the top because that's the victory. Right. And so that's kind of what I tell white belts.
What's your Lizzy Bob?
What do you got there, Lizzy Bob? Are you Googling what to tell white belts?
Yeah, that's exactly
I
what
look over and Lizzie's on her phone and it says, what should I tell a white belt?
Yeah.
You got Stefan Custing or whatever. That freaking weirdo.
He is a weirdo. I think he's half Klingon.
Such a weirdo.
Yeah. Classic.
Classic. I don't have any experience in these type of situations, but I did compete in piano competitions.
Okay.
I did stay at a Holiday Inn once.
Did you switch to Geico at all?
Yeah. Actually, I do have Geico, thanks to Jonny. And I did like singing competitions, just public speaking and all that stuff.
Did you win any of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you get like a 1, 2, or a 3. It's not like you're
3
winning.
being the best?
I think it's 1 is the best.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I get third place a lot, so that makes sense.
I did do tennis competitions also, so it's a sport, but it's not the same thing.
I'm glad you admit that.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, but I tend to get really nervous when people watch me, and you freeze up. So the best thing for me is to not think about it at all.
So kind of like the Johnny's approach. Like,
exactly.
Just go in there and.
I put my mind in a whole different place, and it's like I'm not even there. I'm just running through the motions, and that helps me the most. It also has like other bad effects though, because then I start like doing that in my other like day-to-day things where I'm like, okay, I'll just like put myself in this other space where I'm not like in the moment and I'm not present. That's a whole nother subject. But as far as competition goes, I think you have to like if you're that type of person that gets nervous, and like that's I used to be like really nervous at public speaking and all that stuff. I think the best thing to do is just to not be present in that specific scenario and to like put yourself in a mental place where you can where you feel most comfortable. But everybody has to figure out what that is for them.
I like to imagine that I'm naked.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't help me at all.
Yeah,
I don't see why you imagining me naked would help you.
No. Either way, any of us naked.
When I fought MMA, I had to get myself in a completely different mindset though, and that was part of.
Did you ever get an anxiety boner?
No
Whoa.
anxiety.
Is that
boners.
real?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
You get so nervous, you get a boner?
Well, you get so nervous about not getting a boner that you get a boner.
No, I've never had that.
Well, you wear a cup, so they'd never know.
Yeah.
They thought my boner was the cup. They're like, hey, this guy's wearing a cup. This guy's wearing a cup.
How do you? Okay, so what happens when you have a boner and you're wearing a cup? Does it just like?
I don't think I've ever had a boner in a
Never?
cup. No.
What?
You should try that.
Mitch is like,
honestly,
I got a lot of experience in this.
I don't wear cups.
If I have a cup on, I'm probably doing something that does not have me thinking about anything that would give me a boner.
You're in constant survival mode?
Yeah. Honestly, I've never had the issue of like rolling with a hot girl and like being turned on by her or whatever.
No,
it's
I've
so far removed from what I'm thinking at that moment.
I've had more instances where I've almost gotten boners training with guys than I have with ever
because I'm
women.
bored and I'm thinking about girls.
That would make me so nervous.
No, it's because you're like you know, like you're showing a technique, and then like, so when if like you're training with a girl and like something happens, and they, you know, you've learned to tune things out so well that you just don't think about it. But for some reason, I'm always hyper aware when a guy touches my dick, and so then I'm like, ooh, and then I'm like, oh man, that kind of felt good, but I shouldn't. I'm not supposed to be thinking this right now.
You heard it here
This
first.
is the
everyone.
first of like 3
No,
conversations.
I didn't
where Mitch
say.
comes out. There's a closet right behind you if you want to walk out.
Can I walk out of
real
it?
quick.
I can come out of the closet. I didn't say that that the guy was jerking me off. Like I just said that, like, you know, there'll be a situation, and the reason it becomes this thing is because it's like when I talk about how I can't really pee with a bunch of people around.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you start thinking about it, and you're like, oh, if I get a boner right now, he's gonna get the wrong idea, and then it becomes like a constant battle of like,
Or maybe he'll get the right idea.
yeah, or
Never
maybe he'll
had
get the
that
right
problem.
idea, and then it, you know, it's the same. It's like
Have
being
you-
bladder shy. I get boner shy sometimes.
Have
I've
you
had
ever
to-
like watched anyone roll and like someone get a boner and then get really like awkward about
Ooh,
it?
I have a really good
No.
situation where that happened. So I
See,
have
so it's not uncommon.
when we first opened the gym. I mean, like brand new. You know, I'd have classes where I'd have one person there or 2 people there, and I had one of my females that started with
That
me
got a
and has been
boner?
helping me. She got a boner right in the middle of the
That's
match.
crazy.
No, she was actually about to leave, and there was like this 14-year-old kid that wanted to try out class. This was this boy, and I was like, "Hey Nicole, would you mind like
Oh, is Nicole?
sticking around?" Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to throw under the bus like that.
Oh, we'll
but
have to edit
anyways,
that out.
Way to go.
she doesn't care.
Okay.
Um,
Hey, Nicole.
Love you. Anyways, so she's like, "Yeah, great. I'd love to help out." So she helps out, right? They're doing jiu-jitsu. He's wearing athletic shorts. Every time he gets up, he's got his hands in his pockets. I'm like, why do you keep doing that? Like, take your hands, and when you're in the guard, don't put your hands in your pockets, bro. Why would you do that? And I'm like, it doesn't dawn on me until I'm like,
Was he jerking off?
Oh no!
Or was he hiding
no,
his
he's trying
boner?
to hide his boner.
Oh, that sucks.
And then I was like, oh my god, I just ruined this kid's puberty. Like,
Oh man.
yeah,
Do
totally.
you think that was because he was so nervous because he was like rolling with a girl, or do you think he was just like,
Probably.
whoa?
I don't know. I think he
Boobs.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to hide.
It would have been funny if you'd like walked over and like used the back of your hand and like hit his hands and like, get your hand in your pocket, dude. Get him out of there. Get out of there.
Get.
And then you're like, ew.
Did Nicole realize?
I think she realized
She
what
probably
was
felt it
going
on her butt every time.
Oh God,
Oh.
that is so
She's
She's
scary.
like, this guy has the biggest mole ever.
Come on, we can't. That poor kids might be listening right now.
Yeah, I know.
No,
He just ruined his life.
Yeah, that was really terrible, uncomfortable
That's sad.
coaching moment of my life. So don't get a boner. Have fun, do good,
Have
and
fun.
yeah, those are the tips that we're given.
For the white belt.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Lizzie's like, have
What is? Why just?
I
thought you
was
do
counting
this.
him
Have
off.
He's
fun.
counting.
Scissoring.
scissoring.
I'm scissoring them off. Do good, try your best, have fun,
Take
These
the
are
reins.
so generic.
and I don't remember whatever Mitch said.
Yeah, everything I said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's-
Nothing. Don't listen to what I said.
There's your advice. What else do you need?
And the thing is nothing against him for asking the question, obviously. And you're going to get a generic answer because the answer to the question is a generic answer.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, go find a strength and conditioning coach and a nutritionist, and then also, you know what I mean? Like, it's your first
No.
fucking white belt competition.
Well,
I love how we're making it like he's like he asked us a question and now we're like, what the fuck do you want, bro?
Yo, Jesus
like,
Christ.
come on,
The reality is that
quit bugging us about it.
the best advice for a white belt is to go fucking compete.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
Just
then
go
if
compete.
If you don't like it, maybe
Then don't do it
you
again.
Don't compete.
Yeah. Or if you love it and you want it, that's what drives you to grow. You compete, you fail, you fix it. You compete, you fail. Unless you're me, in which you compete and you've failed for 12 years straight and nothing fixes it.
Fail forward.
I fail forward
Fail on to the next.
all the
failure.
time. I like how I was said on my last podcast where I was like, I don't really think I'm going to compete anymore. And you're like, bro, you're giving up. And like, I'm going to focus on self-defense. like that's like the typical thing. Like I've sucked so bad at black belt that I'm just
No.
like, you know what? I'm going to go do fake stuff.
You need to.
I'm
give
going to
yourself
compete.
credit.
I'm still going to compete.
I mean, I just remember the first super fight that I saw you.
You whoop this ass.
Yeah, you whipped
Once.
that ass.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm a black belt champion.
Yeah. I've beaten a lot of black belts when they were brown belts.
Yeah, there you go. I was like the gateway for a little while.
Yeah, you were.
All you got to do is beat me off, and then you get your black belt.
Lizzy was like,
I still haven't gotten my black
that's
belt.
it? I've been doing this for how long now?
Yeah. Dang.
Again,
Where's my
whenever.
reward?
Anyways.
What about our topic?
Oh, sun
Are we
gazing.
gonna dive into that?
Here's some more advice. Go sun gazing.
Don't go sun gazing.
Normally,
Well,
Jonny and I are always 100% on the same page.
Let's talk about it first. Let's introduce it. What sun gazing is.
Okay, so Jonny, I'll let you, since you're obviously the master sun gazer.
sun gazing is where exactly what it sounds like.
By the way, I tried it in Colorado and I got into a car accident right after it. I was also driving while I did it.
I did find out that like the technical times to do it is at dawn and dusk.
Yep, I found that out.
Not when like the sun is at noon. You know,
Peak
just
volume.
looking at
It
the
peak
sky.
energy.
Yeah, you've got to absorb the nutrients whenever they're being filtered through the Earth's atmosphere at its,
Oh.
okay, only halfway or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, and you work up to it. It's like a tolerance thing. Like you stare at it for 10 seconds.
You get used to being
Yeah, no,
blind.
you don't get used to it. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like the reason it's a tolerance thing is because if you went out and did it in 20-minute segments, you would immediately be
20
blind
minute
forever.
Let's be
segments,
clear
yeah.
before I get yelled at this whole podcast. I'm not for sun gazing.
Okay. I was under the direct impression you were.
No. That was just to bother Lizzy.
Mission accomplished.
I'm not gonna go sun gazing. I do have somebody at the gym though that I'm not entirely sure if they're serious or not that says they support sun gazing, but they also
Could be
like
trolling
to,
you.
Yeah, people like to just
Yeah,
say
but that
things.
person's also really young. So let's talk when that person's like 40.
Yeah, when they have glaucoma.
Mhm.
That's you don't get glaucoma. It's
You-
called solar retinopathy. Basically, what it does is it
Oh, you mean you don't get glaucoma from sun gazing?
Sun gazing.
from sun gazing.
Okay, because when you said you don't get glaucoma, I thought you were going to follow that up with a story as to what glaucoma is. I didn't know that you were referring to not getting glaucoma from sun glazing.
I thought the topic was sun gazing, and
Well, you're the doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
You're mom now.
It is sun
I
gazing.
am mom.
The topic is
The
sun
topic is
gazing.
sun gazing, and no, you won't get glaucoma from
But you will get, what would you call it?
It's called solar retinopathy.
Is that when you can't get a boner anymore?
You know,
Yes.
there you'll get solar retinopathy, and you'll also get woke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll be blind, but you'll know all the secrets of the world.
Well, I heard that as long as you go out and do it barefooted,
Yep.
that you don't get solar glaucoma.
Solar
Wow. Dang, I've been wearing shoes this whole time.
solar anal therapy. The funniest thing to me about like I went on the subreddit because that's where everybody's gonna like all of the people that support it are gonna be, you know.
Of course.
The two funniest things was there was some guy like the most popular post. There was some guy like dancing to absorb all the sunlight, and all the comments were
He's just
him-
bending over, opening his butthole up.
Yeah. Come on solar rays.
Why does this remind me of the video with Jeff in like the white shirt dancing around his house? I could just see Jeff doing that while sun
Oh
gazing.
yeah, any one of Jeff's dances would would absorb.
I think that Jeff has the
nutrients.
best probability of absorbing the
Right.
nutrients just because of his energy.
Well,
anyway.
apparently dancing's not the way because
Oh,
everybody in the comments were like,
You're doing it wrong.
yeah, like you're giving us a bad name, like you're making us
giving us a
look bad.
name.
Everybody thinks we're stupid now. Like it's not about dancing. That's not how it works.
It's about gazing.
And then it's about gaze. The other thing was that apparently there's a strain of weed called the sun gazer. Or
That's what they've been doing the whole time.
And so every like 3 posts is just this big picture of a weed nugget.
so they
And,
bake the sun into the weeds.
Yeah.
I saw one YouTube video, and this girl was giving her account of sun gazing,
Mhm.
and she was talking about how she could, all the benefits that she's obtained as far as cognitive abilities and things like that. But she's in like this really ghetto neighborhood, and so like she's videoing herself, like it's like a selfie style, and like every now and then she's like, yeah, so for me, the cognitive ability, my ability to recall memories. What's up, Bootsy? Yeah. I'm coming down. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. So, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, she just starts yelling at people in the neighborhood and like is waving at her cousins that are walking by, and I'm like, you could have done all this in your backyard. You didn't have to do it in the middle of the street.
Right.
But she's just like, I was like, you're giving sun gazers a bad name.
So you have like actual real information about what
Right.
happened.
Yeah, solar glaucoma. She called it a second ago.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, glaucoma. No, it has nothing to do with glaucoma, to reiterate that for everyone out there. No, basically, the person that I work with, his wife is an optometrist, and she is an active sun gazer, and that's someone
What?
yeah.
Let's get her on the show.
Basically, basically what it can do is it can essentially, like, quote unquote, burn a hole into your retina, which causes spots and causes you to lose vision in the best part of your vision. So the result of that is that you get dark spots. Normally they go away though, unless you're sun gazing for like extended periods of time, because you're only supposed to do it for like up to a minute, like each time you do it. So if you're doing it for like 20 minutes at a time,
There's a guy that say he did it for 5. And I was like, that's a really long time to be staring at the sun.
Yeah, we're making fun of him, but he's literally flying to California right now.
He's living
without
in
an airplane.
3019.
Yeah.
So in that case, your vision will be affected. I mean, it will be affected in some way. Sometimes
As
it's
far as
short-term,
being able to see into the future. Is
Mm-hmm.
what she
sometimes
means.
it's long term,
Yeah.
and
Positively.
positively affected.
Yeah.
No.
So what I've gathered so far from what you've said is that it burns holes into my eyeballs,
Which
that will open
doorways, pathways.
Right.
my vision
To your soul.
and my wokeness
Right.
Okay.
to see the real world.
Yep.
The Matrix, basically.
Yep.
hmm
Okay.
And also, I mean, there's other factors like environmental factors, your genetics, and things like
climate
that.
change.
Right.
So so you're telling me that sun gazing is contributing to climate change?
Sun
Exactly.
glazing is a whole nother thing.
I think I've had these before.
Look up sun glazing on Pornhub.
Do it.
Anyways, go ahead.
So sun gazing is contributing to climate change is what you're saying.
Once again, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of
That's been
I
established.
think we're onto something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we
Would
cracked
you
the code on
say
that.
how many minutes a day would you have to sun gaze to completely melt the solar ice caps or the polar ice caps?
At least 30 seconds.
Solar ice caps?
It's a real thing.
The ice caps on the sun.
I think you can think of it in terms of your skin, just
Okay.
like your skin would get burned.
Yeah.
Your eyes are very sensitive, so you're burning the very most sensitive part of your eye
Okay.
that controls your central vision.
Okay.
So central scotoma is what it's called. It basically
And that's so central scotoma
yeah,
is when you are melting the polar ice caps.
in the middle of your vision. Yes.
Okay.
So the middle of what you see, it kind of acts like
Scotoma.
macular degeneration. You lose your central vision. It's kind of
Vacular
vacular.
degeneration.
So it's
Vehicular.
Vehicular degeneration. Is that when you crash a car and kill someone?
I think it is
Vehicular degeneration.
Mm.
disintegration. Like this podcast right now.
We're gonna wrap all of this up and it's gonna make sense real soon.
The takeaway is don't do it.
Yeah.
So what is vehicular
Manslaughter.
What is that?
I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Vacular disintegration.
I just use macular degeneration as an example.
You said macular?
Macular.
Sorry.
That's a very common eye disease that's a lot of the times inherited. But
What does it do?
you lose the central part of your vision. So it's the same
So you can see
concept.
you have peripheral, but no central.
Right. So over time you lose your central vision.
So basically, you basically go from being
Now-
a predator to being a
Masculine degenerate.
No,
the masculine degeneration.
not like
You-
not like a sexual predator. I'm
You
talking
lose
about in
your
the wild.
masculinity.
Masticate.
What is it? So you have a predator, and then you have the people who get eaten by the predators, which are called
Prey.
prey, right? So essentially, if you stare at the sun, you have peripheral, which deer have really good peripheral vision. They don't have very, like Tyrannosaurus Rex, if you don't move, they can't see you. Is that what you're talking about?
That's exactly what I just said.
So
So what you're
Tyrannosaurus
telling
Rexes
me-
were born with that.
Yes.
Sun gazing melted the polar ice caps,
Yep.
and that's why the dinosaurs are extinct.
I think that
And then Kevin Costner got gills on the backs of his ears.
Yep.
I think that
Before
about
he
sums it up.
molested all those children.
Are you thinking of the right Kevin Costner?
I'm not sure.
Kevin
I don't.
Costner, I don't think so.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
God damn it. There goes our chance of ever getting Kevin Costner on the show.
That was the best coverage of any topic we've ever had,
I
for
think,
sure.
I think we knocked it out of the park.
So I do appreciate Lizzy's science behind this stuff.
If somebody kept up with that, I'm impressed.
Yeah, this is the reality. We have patients we've had patients that do that. And I used to...
They do sun gaze?
Talk about your peanut butter falcon.
Oh, that's a great movie, by the way.
Oh,
Wait,
have you seen it?
Yes, it's the greatest movie in the world.
Oh, man, I wanted to see that.
It's so good. You guys not have Fire Sticks?
No.
Get a Fire Stick.
Yeah, no, we have one.
I'll tell you what.
You do?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Why do we need a Fire Stick?
Because you can get the app that allows you to watch movies that are still in theaters.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I have that and it never works. The Kodi or whatever.
Don't use Kodi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, use either Terrarium or TTV. Those two apps are what I use, and they're really good. I watched Peanut Butter Falcon like 2 days ago.
What?
Nice.
Yeah, I watched it a couple months ago when it first came out. It was a handheld camera version.
Nice.
Still good. And now they actually have the digital copies on there. You can watch it. It's like watching it in the theater. It's awesome. It's a great fucking movie.
She has a peanut butter falcon at her work.
I don't know that
No.
you're allowed to say that.
I don't.
It's the girl that only eats peanut butter.
Oh, okay. We were talking... this is a whole different...
You were kind of insinuating that you had a person with Down
No.
syndrome.
No,
I-
I
she-
was insinuating that there's a person that likes peanut butter.
That could have been taken
I was
two different
talking to
ways.
Jonny about nutritional optic neuropathy.
What? Where you put peanut butter on your eyes?
Right.
Yeah.
And it...
Am I right? Are you guys just fucking with me?
Instead of staring at the sun, you just put peanut butter in your eyes and then you look at the sun. Basically, what a lot of people that do like hard drugs for a long period of time, or they're eating only specific things.
Give 3 definitions of a hard drug.
Heroin, meth, cocaine.
Nailed it. Keep going.
So basically, this person came in. She didn't have any of the characteristics of optic neuropathy that you would normally see. Anyway, we got into it and
Like got into a fight?
No, we got into like after the exam
discussion.
and all that stuff. The doctor came out and he's like, yeah, she's got a nutritional optic neuropathy, not from being an alcohol or all drugs or whatever.
It's from eating too much peanut butter?
She's been on a peanut butter only diet
Shut
for
your
the
mouth.
last 4 years.
Who does that?
Whoa.
I bet she never poops.
Wait, are you allowed to talk about that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just make sure it wasn't
I didn't
HIPAA.
say
You
any
didn't say
names.
names, right,
or,
okay.
No, yeah, because it's a case study, right?
Yeah.
It's just a case study.
It's not a case study, but it's just a patient we had.
Okay.
Oh,
I
I
was
was
just
trying
making
to-
sure.
I never
don't
said
know.
where I work or who I work for. So,
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Where do
Yeah.
you work at?
Nowhere.
Yeah, this girl eats only peanut butter.
So,
The same thing can happen to like children that are only eating like the same thing like
Yeah.
every single day.
I know a girl that only eats cheese.
Really?
Yep.
Only cheese.
That's crazy.
Well, she
No
eats
bread or
no, she gets her carbohydrates from macaroni.
so like macaroni and cheese.
She'll eat macaroni and cheese. So she only eats she eats very.
Is this your
very-
child?
No.
Okay, I was like, if this is a 2-year-old that we're talking about.
Then it's okay. Yeah.
I know a girl that only eats dirt.
Yeah.
It's my daughter. I saw her eat something strange this morning, and I say strange because I don't know what it was. Like she was sitting on the floor, and I looked down, and there's like a spot on her finger, and she's staring at it, and I was like, "What you got there?" And then she just puts it in her mouth,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Fuck, I don't know what it was." It was probably a flea or
I
something.
don't care what anybody says. Having dogs is very similar to having children.
100% up to a certain
Especially
age.
when you have a dog
When you
like
have Bubba, this one is perfect.
Yeah, well, because this one's named is
Nora.
Nora. Yeah, Nora's my favorite. I took a picture of her earlier because
Yeah, she doesn't do anything wrong. She's an angel.
She's been.
she
actually
always presents
on
her toy to me in the
podcasts
beginning when I come
yes,
home,
she said play.
or not come home when I come up to your home.
She
Dude,
said,
You know what? I'm starting to think after you guys are staring into each other's eyes and now you're calling this your home. Things are going on. I'm gonna have to ask Nora if she's been calling somebody uncle recently.
Nora, is there anybody that maybe comes over that you may refer to as, I don't know, uncle?
Yeah, she's an angel. Bubba is a monster.
yeah, Bubba is a monster. Then he's like the best dog ever. I assume that's what kids are like.
It is.
Yeah.
First they're sour, then they're sweet.
Yep. No, my daughter Abby is 100% a Sour Patch Kid. 100%.
What are all your kids' names again?
Ansley, Peyton, Reagan, Abby, and
How
Skylar.
do you spell Avi?
AVIE. So
That's
it's French.
nice.
It's French for Ivy,
I like it.
and so it's kind of a South Louisiana name,
Oh, nice.
and so, yeah, it's okay though. We ruined her life because everybody refers to her as Avy,
Yeah.
and we just let it happen.
I like
It's
it.
like, fuck
I
it.
like only strange and unusual names.
I'm similar to that in the sense here lately, at least. That's why I liked Abby so much, because it was fairly unique. And yeah, you're gonna fuck with your kid because nobody's gonna be able to pronounce it, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
And later in life, they'll appreciate it.
Right.
Agreed. My
Yeah.
son still gives me shit because his name is Skylar, and he still gives me shit because he thinks that only girls' names are Skylar.
No.
But I'm like, nah, dude. When you become an adult, yeah, dude, you'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Only white people's names are Skylar.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. Nobody else would.
Johnny said it, so.
No. It's not because of anything other than nobody else would dare name their child Skylar. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Skylar's my oldest. He's my son. He's who I hung out with, and he listens to the podcast. He lives in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
He wrestles for Coronado High School. What? And he's second year wrestling, and he beat me at the incline. So it took me 50 minutes. And
Does he talk to you about what he wants?
He doesn't donate to the Patreon, but why don't you go ahead and give him a shout out?
I just did.
Has he talked to you about what he wants to do after high school?
Yeah, he wants to go to a trade school, so he's looking at doing. He's smart enough to do anything he wants, but he sees the value in a labored skill.
Yeah,
like welding, graphic. Not necessarily graphic design. Because
wow, Bob, you have a
and you see that he does it for free. That's the problem.
Right.
I've been trying to make money off of it.
Yeah, you never see anybody do a shit ton of welding for free.
Yeah,
it's always for money. And
but nobody asks for a shit ton of welding for free, because whenever you start doing that, it's always like, hey man, like, can you do this for me? Or like, it's always like friends, and then even past that, it's like, yo, we'll get your name out there.
Right.
Cool, thanks.
Are you talking about graphic design?
Yeah.
Graphic design has been a godsend in this arena for us.
Yeah.
With your abilities.
So whenever anybody realizes that, feel free to donate.
Dude, we bring it up all the time. Like, I tell people all the time that Jonny does all the graphic design and editing. And so I'm trying.
It's been working. I've got somebody actually from your gym that I'm working with right now.
Nice.
I sent him some stuff, and I gotta work up some other designs and send some more. But
yeah, I mean, your work is, and maybe it's because of the style. We have a similar style in as far as taste and art and stuff like that. But like all your t-shirt designs, what you've like the logo for the fucking podcast, like I couldn't have done it better myself. It's like you pull the thoughts out of my head and design them, and I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah, I think that my biggest struggle right now is like everything that I designed kind of looks like it's a band logo.
But I think that's why I like it so much.
But I just want to make sure,
it.
I want to be able to kind of do everything with it. I love it though. It's so much fun. Like, I would honestly do it
for free, like you do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I do it for the gym and for this mostly. So.
Yeah.
Just think about the amount of outsourcing that people do for that type of work, and you don't have to.
Right.
You know?
Well, and that was honestly, whenever I opened up the gym, I said it, like, I've told people that I don't think that a business degree is what you need to start a business.
Rolly told me how stupid I was when I was trying to get a degree in management.
Yeah.
In business management. He was like, that's the dumbest degree. He's like,
graphic
you don't
design,
need
I think,
that.
is the smartest degree.
Yeah, and if you look at that, because outside of tuition, merchandise is where you make your other money, right? The reality. And plus, when you look at when you can design your own flyers, when you can design your own websites, when you can do all those things yourself, and you get to take that stuff from being outsourced to being insourced, then that's money saved.
Yeah, and everything is online. Even if even your business management stuff, like that graphic design stuff, can help. I've learned like how to do things like spreadsheets and set those things up through doing stuff on Adobe and doing stuff on that kind of stuff. So
one of our buddies, I'm not going to say his name, and the reason I'm not going to say his name
because he has to pay us money
is because I will mention his name, and you know who you are, who has a business that is surrounded by taking people's internet solutions, essentially. Right? He literally sits down with the customer and says, "You know what I'm talking about now? Yeah, he knows who I'm talking about too. And if you're listening, now." You want to sponsor an episode? Then we will talk at length about your name, your address, maybe even your phone number. But until then,
social security number.
Yeah. But until then, you will remain nameless. But I will say that you have a very good business model, where he does internet solutions and a myriad of other things for businesses, which I think in this day and age, his business model is something that people need.
He or she is very intelligent. Yeah, and has a lot of
and I would love nothing more than to go into detail, but I just can't do it right now.
Yeah, I can't. Speaking of details and shout outs that we need to give to people who do pay us money.
Yep.
We have a Patreon shout out this week.
Ooh.
Finally, last week I was getting worried.
Jonny was getting bummed, man. He was texting me all kinds of sad faces and stuff.
Yeah, it was really sad. But Ian Humbley.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I don't know if that's how you say his name. He's one of my students.
Is he?
He just signed up with me. I mean, maybe like 2-3 months ago. But he goes back and forth between every other month. He goes back to Afghanistan.
Oh, nice.
And
he's a contractor?
Yeah, he's a contractor. I don't know exactly what he does.
Right.
I think he does something with helicopters.
Probably.
But that's the extent of. I don't want to screw it up. And
yeah.
You know. But yeah, so he does that, and he competed at this last AGF, did really well, and he's been
nice
training. He's a stud, dude.
Congratulations to your best friend.
Oh yeah,
we won't mention his name, but
I can't mention his name.
Congratulations on your promotion.
He's had a really, really big month. Like, he got married.
Yeah.
He bought a house.
Nice.
And then he got his brown belt.
Dude.
Yeah.
Well deserved, man.
Yeah.
Super well deserved.
I honestly,
did you buy that brown belt or did you hand that brown belt down?
I hand that brown belt.
That's what I thought.
For him in particular, he's gotten all of my old belts.
That's super cool.
Because
it looked like an A3 belt.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Dude, I didn't have enough belts, and so I had Mr. Dring bring some down, and so I had to give like this girl an A5, and it was hanging to the floor, and I was like, listen, I'll get you another one.
This is just for the pictures. You're gonna look really ridiculous on this momentous day.
And just hanging around your neck, like fold it in half. But anyways, so for him in particular, I honestly, like, I had gone back and forth about it, and my coach has always told me, and I'm sure everybody's kind of said it, like, you don't want people to ask, why is that guy a brown belt? You want people to ask, why is he not a brown belt?
Why is he not a black belt? That makes sense.
After this most recent tournament that he did, I legitimately had people coming up and said, dude, that brown belt that you got, like, he killed it. And I was like, that's great. He's not a brown belt. Mm-hmm. And they were like, dude, he needs a brown belt. Yeah. I was like, yeah, probably. Yeah, he's been killing it, man. He's doing really good.
He really has.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fortunate. I haven't gotten to train with him when he comes to Westside, but I've gotten to see him train. Yeah. And the guy's great. And he has such an open mind about training, you know, and so that's what I like to see. You know, I'm not a business owner. You know, I don't own Westside. I have no dog in the fight when it comes to finances and stuff like that. So for me, as an on-staff instructor and a member of Westside, I get to benefit from people who get to cross-train with us. Yeah. You know, I know that maybe from like Rolly and Matt's perspective, you know, if they're paying you, but training with us twice a week, you know, I don't know what deal they have is worked out, but you know, I can see like at that point kind of being like, man, you know, you're getting all the benefits of training here, but not giving us any money. Right. But
well, that's not what's going on.
So, okay, good. And I don't know. That's why I said I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. I understand.
You know, but from my perspective, I look at it and go, man, I'm really glad that guys like that can cross train with us.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he asked me up front, he's like, hey, do you think, he's you know, would you be cool with it? I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. And he was up front. I think he was up front with them about it. He's like, I'm about to do some really big tournaments. I want to have some really consistent training partners. And like, we have consistent training partners at our gym. We have high level people at our gym, but they don't, you know, not all of it lines up the way that we need to for training, for big tournaments like he was. And it just worked out for him more conveniently to travel,
that's awesome.
Travel and stuff.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
But I'm like a good girlfriend. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not jealous.
And so. I think the community can use more of that because our coaches at Westside are the same way. You know, like there's no. So I had a conversation with one of my buddies when I was in Colorado Springs, and he trains at a gym up there, and really good guy, really good fucking purple belt too. I don't know that he listens to the podcast. If he does, what up, Dan? And if he doesn't, then I just said hi to somebody that doesn't listen to the podcast. So.
Yeah, whatever.
But he trains at a gym in Colorado Springs, and if you are an instructor at that gym, you are not allowed to cross train anywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, because the owner's perspective is, well, I'm teaching you all this jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go cross train and teach it somewhere else. I get it. But at the same time, it's a really weird thing because it's like, well, I'm a fucking customer.
Yeah.
But then it's like, yeah, but I am the person who has given you the product that you paid for.
Right.
And then when you go give my product away to someone else who didn't pay for it, where do you draw the line?
It's not your product anymore, though.
Right.
You think about it like when you produce a piece of art, when you put a painting up on a wall, it's no longer yours to interpret. You have your interpretation of why you made that painting and why it looks like that. But now everybody else is going to see that painting. And it's now up to them to interpret that for themselves. So I've always pictured it as like a very artistic endeavor. Whenever I teach a technique, I'm giving you that technique. And yeah, like I'm investing my time into you. But the art of it is what you take from it and how you translate it and process it. So whenever you turn around and like that's no longer my technique anymore. That's now yours to interpret, right? I've always pictured like Gravitas, my gym, as a little bit more. Have you ever heard of Studio 540?
Yep.
The gym in California.
Very
I
cool.
think it's California.
Yeah, it is.
It's more of like a collaborative effort. Like me and Daniel
like a collective.
Yeah. Me and Daniel very much own the gym. We're still a part of our team and we have our coaches and stuff. But we want to learn as much jiu-jitsu as possible from everybody. It doesn't matter who comes through. You know, like be fair to us, we'll be fair to you, and that's all that we ask for. I
mean, I feel bad that that I don't get to train at your gym as much as I'd like to.
I feel bad too.
You know, I'd love to come over there and get like at least one day a week, you know, training with you guys. And mostly because I consider you to be a very close friend of mine. But so I'll preface this by saying I love Daniel Tumble.
Yeah.
I think he's an awesome guy. He's never, to my knowledge, spoken ill of me. And I've never spoken ill of him. But how the fuck do you not know who Josh Hinger is?
We talked about it. Because he lives in a bubble. And
you're a black belt.
Yeah, he also likes to just be stubborn for the sake of being stubborn. But no, he's one of those guys that's like very much kind of out of the loop on the popular culture of jiu-jitsu.
That's more common than you realize.
Yeah,
you know.
And if you watch it, what's funny is like I think that his jiu-jitsu reflects that in the best ways, because Daniel, and I'm not afraid to say this because I say it to Daniel all the time, like his jiu-jitsu is getting his ass kicked until he wins.
Yeah.
Like I've literally watched him. It was incredible. He was down like 19-0 or something. I mean, it was insane, like 12 to nothing or whatever. And there was like 30 seconds left, to the point where I stopped coaching because I was like, dude, you're done. Like,
it's over.
It's over. He armbars the kid with like seriously 5 seconds left. And that's all of his jiu-jitsu.
I've trained with Daniel, and that's exactly how I felt the entire time. Yeah. And like he almost arm locked me, and because him and I've only trained like once. I've only had the luxury of actually training with him like once or twice. Both were great experiences. But I remember that like I just remember like putting a ton of pressure on him and like just smashing him, almost to the point where like I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And then like right toward the end, like he just fucking opened up and like put me in the worst places. And like if it wasn't for the bell, he was gonna submit me with an arm lock. And I just remember thinking like, this motherfucker was playing possum this whole fucking time.
He's brilliant at it. He's the most dangerous whenever he's tired. Like the more tired he gets, the more dangerous he is. Oh, he had another one. He what's that guy's name? Like Longacre or something.
Lanyacre?
I don't know.
The guy from like yeah. He's big.
Not that guy.
Not Lancaster?
No, they're like some guy from Oklahoma. But anyways,
Lovato. You're thinking of Lovato Jr.
No, yeah, Daniel like just armbarred the crap out of Lovato Jr. No, he was stuck in a triangle from this guy, all at the same time. Busts out of the triangle and armbars the guy all at once. It was insanity. And that's his jiu-jitsu. I don't get it.
I felt it. And like that's exactly what he did to me, because like I was passing and like I had him like on his back, just like smashing him to the point where like I had stopped trying to submit him, because I was like, this is just not okay, you know, like. And then like I don't know how he knew how much time was left.
He has like an
but
internal clock.
as soon as there was like a minute left, he just like he escaped side control, like did like a D1 wrestler duck out, like,
shows like the best techniques in about 5 seconds.
It was and I can only imagine that the entire time he's having that internal dialogue, like he's just like counting it down. He's like,
I've got him right where I want him.
Yep, just keep on. I need him to keep. Yep, more pressure, more pressure.
Keep that full mount.
Keep that full mount. That's exactly where I want you.
He's had a lung issue for a while too,
really?
And he
had a tumor issue too, didn't he?
They're called AVMs. It's
okay,
like a blood clot or something,
like a mini stroke or whatever.
That's not I didn't think that had to do with the lungs.
No,
it doesn't. It was in addition to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was some in his brain and then some in his
I
lungs.
gotcha.
But the ones in his lungs, I think he just recently got them fixed.
That's crazy, man.
And so now his cardio is like unlocked.
Oh.
And we are all fucked.
So like he got those. So that's been the whole problem.
They told him that like, hey, your
This is
cardio, this is gonna help your cardio quite
Get
a
the
bit.
fuck out.
This is restricting your.
Well, who's this doctor? Can I go?
Yeah,
like-
give me some of that.
Is it like, does it come in a syringe?
Yeah.
Like,
We're all in trouble.
dude. Speaking of cardio, man, that was something that. So have either one of you ever been to Colorado, like at that altitude?
Yes.
No,
You haven't, Lizzy?
I have not.
I have.
So you've been to Colorado Springs?
Yeah, I used to live in Colorado. And,
Okay.
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I've been out there a couple times.
So, at the Air Force Academy, they talk about the altitude all the time. In fact, it's like in their mantra. Like if you ask a cadet what the altitude is at the Air Force Academy, I can't remember it exactly, but basically they say it's 7,250 feet, which is exactly this many feet above West Point and this many feet above Annapolis, which is the Naval Academy. It's like an indoctrination thing that they have. But I got to watch the Air Force versus Army boxing, which was really cool, right?
Yeah.
So the thing about the U.S. Air Force Academy is that in order to box for the Academy, they don't offer scholarships. So they don't recruit boxers. Same thing with the Army and the Navy Academy as well. It's an extracurricular, but it is a collegiate sport, which is kind of strange, right? And so you're allowed to have like no more than 2 amateur fights as a non-academy cadet. And so if you want to box, like you can't have any documented fights. So you're literally like fighting as a true nobody, right? And there's this sign that is hanging on the wall in big letters, as big as this American flag you have here on the wall, right next to the boxing ring, that says, "Welcome to the Air Force Academy, altitude 7,250 feet. The air is rare." And it's like a constant reminder to those who train at sea level. Like when you come up here, they have to see that every time, and they feel it.
Yeah.
Because the best way I can explain it is you don't notice that the altitude is a thing, unless you're training in it, which I was, right? So you notice it like you it's not that you can't breathe, it's that it's like you can't catch your breath. Like you can't take a deep enough breath, right? And then if somebody is on top of you, like in a side control position, it's like your chest is heavier. Like you take shallow breaths. It's really interesting. But what was cool is watching the boxing matches is you would see the moment where the Army athletes were realizing that this altitude was real. And then the Air Force Academy cadets would just lay it on them. Like you would see it because, they were doing 3 2-minute rounds is what it was. So like going into the second round is whenever you start to realize like they're becoming hypoxic and oxygen deprived. And so it was kind of interesting to see that. They say it takes up to 3 weeks for an athlete to acclimate. And I was there just at 3 weeks, but you have to be training at the altitude. Like, so if you're just there living, your body doesn't make an adaptation.
Right.
You have to force the adaptation through exercise and training, which is one of the reasons I climbed the incline twice, because like I was looking for opportunities to push myself as far as possible so that I could come back here in hopes to see any sort of benefits.
Yeah.
Because they have the U.S. Olympic Training Centers there. Like it's in Colorado Springs for a reason, Interesting enough, there was a cyclist who had built a altitude chamber in his backyard, like out of like material or whatever he did. He got caught and was stripped of all his titles. And it basically, he would sleep in it, which would simulate sleeping at altitude of 7,000 to 8,000 feet.
That's not really fair.
But you can go to the Olympic Training Center and do it, and it's legal.
In Colorado.
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Like that's such a weird gray area. Like it's illegal to sleep in an altitude chamber that simulates living at altitude, but it's not illegal to actually live at altitude where the Olympic Training Center is.
Yeah. That is really strange.
It's a very gray area. But yeah, he was stripped of, I think he had gotten like a top 5 finish at the Tour de France and stuff like that and was stripped of his title and everything because they considered it to be
Man, so
performance
much
enhancing.
controversy over the Tour de France.
I know.
It's like anything that people can get away with, they're trying to get away with.
Well, let me ask you this.
That specifically.
So speaking of performance enhancing drugs, right? So me personally, I don't have a problem with it. You want to take steroids to be a higher level competitor in the pro level? Do it. I don't give a fuck. And if you choose not to, that's your fault. Now, with this altitude chamber thing, like, do you guys consider that to be cheating? Would you consider that to be a cheat?
No.
I don't think so.
Right. Of course not. Right.
I think that for the They should do sports like MMA and boxing and those kinds of things. Physical sports like that, they should do like they do weightlifting. They have clean divisions and then they have not clean divisions.
Yeah, they have the fun divisions.
Yeah, so it's like make one like UFC's the clean division and Bellator's the dirty division.
Right.
You know, like it's totally okay that they do that, but you're now going to be in a group of other superhumans, and we're gonna let the normal humans fight each other.
Right.
But then again, like, dude, I don't know the benefits. There's so many benefits to it. If it were as easy as just taking a pill,
right,
then I'd be pretty tempted to do it.
Everybody would. The average, almost everyone would.
The issue is like, there's so much upkeep, and you have to like balance it out with this and that. And
it's absolutely true.
I'd end up dead.
I mean, Atos has gotten it down.
Their acai bowls are just solid.
Yep. And so, and the reason I asked that question is because Tiger Woods just received his 82nd, whatever you call it, the famous golf shit that they do.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The green
Masters,
jacket.
Like he's like whatever they call it, but he's like he's tied the world record for the most amount of wins in this particular thing, and he had LASIK eye surgery 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and golf is one of the sports that requires acute depth perception and visual acuity.
Yeah.
So,
but you could also put sunglasses on that would help protect against.
So then you look at it and go, well,
you see better.
Since he got LASIK eye surgery to give him essentially superhuman vision, because on average you can see at 15/20 versus 20/20, right? So should that be illegal? 2015. I'm sorry.
No, I mean I don't think so, because you can put glasses on that are going to give you.
But they're not going to. It's not going to be the same acuity though.
I just want to say that it depends on what your starting vision is. If he's like a -16, he's only going to be corrected to like a -5. If you're a -6, you might be corrected to -1.
I'm a -3 and a minus. So mine's -3.25 and -4. So what would mine get? Would I go into?
I don't know. I don't know, because do you have astigmatism?
Yes, in my left eye.
It also depends on if you have astigmatism, because that's hardly correctable with LASIK or eye surgery.
Yeah, but astigmatism just means you're never going to see as clearly.
Right. Things are always going to have a little bit of a blur or a haze to them. Yeah, and I think glasses, like something that people don't realize when they get LASIK surgery is it makes your eyes very, very, very dry, and that can cause visual acuity issues.
See, I thought PRK was the one that really was.
It does.
Yeah, I know PRK does.
They don't perform that anymore.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
I
but
have a
LASIK,
buddy of mine that's about to be like permanently denied from flying ever again.
Yeah.
Because he had free PRK.
He probably has to have a transplant or something like that.
His wife had to go pick him up in like Wyoming, because he was driving back from visiting family and his eyes will dry out so bad that he can't drive.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
So she had to travel like 10, 15 hours to go pick him up because he could not drive.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, just because you have LASIK doesn't mean your vision's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Is it true that if you have LASIK, so the reason I'm asking this because the Air Force can give you LASIK for free, right? So I've considered it very much because, dude, I've been wearing contacts and glasses since I was 8 years old. Right, it's fucking terrible.
Nerd.
I know. And
mine started in 6th grade.
Congratulations. And so
much better than you.
I started about 8 years old.
But
around there.
You know, the reason I've always put it off is because my fear of obtaining LASIK and then the incision not healing and then having it rubbed off in training. But
nobody's worried about the incision in general. Like,
I'm pretty sure they don't do an incision with LASIK. I'm pretty sure it's just a laser. It's basically
they have to peel back your
they
cornea,
a lot of
your lens, whatever that thing's called. I've seen the videos. You're a liar.
No, not.
I'm calling you out right now.
It's not your lens. That would be cataract surgery. It's the top part of your cornea.
Pulmonary edema.
No, I don't know what that means. Basically, it's just shaving off a portion of your cornea.
Yeah, but they have to lift it. They have to lift the thing back.
I don't know about that.
You're not a very good eye doctor.
Most of the LASIKs that I've seen have just been with lasers.
Yeah, they use a laser. That's what the L in LASIK stands for.
Oh, really? Laser? L for laser.
L for laser. I've got a laser pointer. We can try it out.
Well, everything I've read says that if
let me shine this in your eye.
Yeah. If you point a laser directly, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up what laser is. Or LASIK.
What laser is?
LASIK.
If you
Sorry.
put laser
Oh, she snorted. That's awesome.
and
It's
blazer
great.
together.
It's on the podcast forever now.
Yeah, recorded for history. Speaking of history, I've got interesting history news
Go ahead.
about myself. 30 years ago, like a couple days ago, was the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing about that, about me and that. My dad guarded the Berlin Wall when I was a kid.
Really?
And I was listening to, like, on NPR, somebody was talking about there's a chunk of the Berlin Wall at the Smithsonian. They were excited that they got to touch it and see a piece of history like that. And yeah, I have a big old fucking chunk in my
Your dad brought some home with him?
I was the one that knocked it out.
What?
Yeah, my dad took me to, like, knock it out with
That's super cool.
And we got a big old chunk of it.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
I was
Another
like,
cool
that's
thing.
a pretty cool thing that I got to experience, you know?
And I'm not saying this is going to one up your story.
No, go for it.
But I was also right about the laser thing. So, yeah, LASIK stands for laser assisted in situ another, I don't know that word. I'm not a scientist, but the keratomyeliosis. I don't know. You can read it. What is that? What's that last word?
Yeah, you said it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
All
Mitch can
right.
read.
I just think it means you eat a lot of carrots.
Speaking of being
Yeah,
able to read,
It's a laser.
I said that.
Yeah, I said you're right.
No, you didn't. You were making fun of me. You're
No.
like L for love. No, it's laser. But yeah, they have to make an incision to peel back the first layer or whatever, and then they laser down your cornea.
Your
then they-
cornea is the first layer.
Maybe that's what they have to pull out. Maybe they pull the laser thingy with the cornea thingy.
wow.
Anyway, I've had the chance to have LASIK surgery for free because
Really?
I've worked for eye doctors for so long.
Oh, why didn't you do it?
I don't think that that's something that I would want to do. I would wait to have cataract surgery.
So you got to wait till you get cataracts to have cataract surgery?
You do. Well, everybody has a
I
lens.
know. I got an idea. Sun gazing.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say.
I've heard.
You get cataracts.
Well, I've heard that it dries cataracts up because I've seen cataracts, and all it is it's just a bubble of milk. It's when you drink too much milk and it gets in your eyeballs.
And then it goes straight to your eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's a calcium
Everybody has a lens, and that's what you see out of. And that lens gets cloudy the older you get.
because milk.
Because of milk. Steroid use.
Steroid use
surgeries.
causes cataracts?
It can progress. Sorry, Mitch.
So much for the John Cena body.
But yeah, that sucks for you.
Damn it! I don't have my sound effects queued up. Okay.
But
go
anyway, I would wait to have cataract surgery just because LASIK has so many after effects that I just don't know if it'd be worth it because I'd still probably have to wear glasses because I'm still a pretty high minus. So
The procedure involves creating a thin flap on the eye, folding it to enable remodeling of the tissue beneath with a laser and repositioning the flap.
yeah, so,
So they do have to make a cut.
Yeah.
Does
No,
it say they
I'm out.
use a cut or
Mhm.
does it say they do it with a laser?
Well, it says the procedure involves creating a thin flap on the eye.
With a knife or with a laser?
Well, they make the incision with a knife.
Not necessarily.
You think they laser it open?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Let's see.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is not giving me enough
Either way,
information.
I don't want any flaps created on my eyeballs.
Oh, no,
It's
you're
just
right.
not something that I want. I had to get after a fight. I had to get stitches over my eyelid, basically stitched
Oh,
back
yeah.
together, and that was horrifying.
So is it a knife or a laser?
A laser.
Yeah. Bye.
It's flap creation with a femtosecond laser.
What happens is Catherine Zeta-Jones comes out with a laser, and then she dips and dives and weaves
Where
through
did
all
she
of
come
it.
from?
It's from a movie.
Because she,
I get the reference.
the lasers, and then she goes.
She does the
through.
dance.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
don't know.
Charlie's Angels.
Anyways,
It's not Charlie's Angels.
this has been a misinformation episode.
That's the whole like.
I can stand behind what I say. I
Yeah,
don't know
Lizzie's
about you
actually been the
guys.
only person providing any scientific data,
any kind of factual information.
and Johnny and I have spent an hour and a half finding ways to discredit every piece of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We should probably, since we're this deep into the episode, we should probably talk about the Rough and Tumble seminar.
Oh
we will have coming
yeah.
up. Now that you're back too, we can get pictures done because we have pictures that we've been wanting to do.
Yeah, Joey texted me, was like, hey, we need to get, Johnny's doing a great job at making those flyers. And I was like,
I told him, I was like, I'll have them to you this week. And then
I know.
Yeah, it was like,
I told him, I was like, well, technically
later.
it was my fault because I had to go out of town for work.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, oh, well, then it was your fault. And then I responded back with, well, also, in my defense, the weekend that I booked it, Jonny had a wedding. He's like, all right, well, it sounds like it's Johnny's fault again.
Yep. I'll take that. Nick, we can just put it off on Lizzy. That's what she's here for.
Yeah, Lizzy was supposed to. She's our
scapegoat.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's our goat.
Good old goat.
Sterlington,
I'm a goat.
Louisiana.
Sterlington, Louisiana. It's about an hour and a half. It's about 2 hours from here. It's just north of Monroe, Louisiana. So if anybody's familiar with that, and you're in that area, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So we're doing a kids seminar in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do from 10 o'clock until probably 11ish.
I don't feel comfortable with them listening to our podcast.
Nope.
So
It is a not safe for work podcast.
yeah.
So the 23rd of November from 10 to 11, we'll be doing a kids seminar. And then from 1 until probably around 4, we'll be doing the adult seminar. I have no idea what Johnny's going to teach. And I'm barely aware of what I'm going to teach. We will have patches.
Yes.
We will have patches.
Patches O'Houlihan.
Patches O'Houlihan.
Ooh, I might need to order more.
All right.
Can you make a patch that says Patches O'Houlihan?
Well, I'm working on it.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on getting patches. We're getting there. I got patches ordered for the Patreon stuff.
Okay.
So I have to send those out, and those are on the way. And then we need to get the ones for the seminar.
Patches for the seminar. Definitely we'll have stickers.
Yes.
For the seminar. So we will have stickers and patches for sale at the seminar. So stickers will be like $5.
I'll get t-shirts. I'm gonna get on t-shirts.
And if we can get t-shirts by then, we may
What
have some
day is
t-shirts. The 23rd of November.
23rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of toward the end. It's like after Thanksgiving, I think, or the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It should be
when
right before
Thanksgiving is.
Because I think Thanksgiving's the 28th.
Yeah, it's the 28th.
Yeah.
But anyways, regardless, it's gonna be
Irregardless.
It's gonna be awesome. Are you gonna come too?
No, I've got a practical that week and then my final the next week.
You're in college still?
Yeah.
Don't support the podcast. It's
Loser.
fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's the way you want to live your life.
Bye.
It's the weekend before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the 28th, so
Okay.
it's the weekend before. It's gonna be legit. It's gonna be awesome.
It's not something that's all affiliates are welcome. Anybody from any gym.
Nobody can come.
I don't
Nobody's
know.
welcome.
I don't know anybody, so it doesn't make any difference.
This will be Johnny's
You're
first
right.
trip.
You know nobody, Bob.
Exactly.
Not in this area of the world.
No.
Only in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
The only benefit to Lizzy going, and this is literally the only benefit to her going, would be that she could drive, because they have drive-through daiquiri stores.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, if anyone wants me to go,
yeah,
shout
take
it
my
out.
test for me.
Shout it out. Let me know that you want me to go, and maybe I'll consider it.
We can just
need
you,
a DD.
Talk shit to us the whole time that we're teaching. You just sit on the sidelines like, that would never work in the real world, bitch.
I train UFC for the streets.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool. And like we've mentioned before, it's an open seminar. I can't say that enough. Like, fuck your affiliations. Like, get over it. Like, it's an open thing.
I
like,
mean,
this
I'll
is
be
supporting
there,
it.
and I don't support Jonny or
ever.
Oh, so now
Mitch
you are
at
going to
all.
be there?
Well, I don't know. It depends on how many people
Answers
want me
changed
there.
like 15 times.
I know.
since we
Well,
started
when I
the
heard
conversation.
drive-through daiquiri, things changed a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not driving, guys.
Well, Johnny's not driving.
Joke's on you guys. I don't have a driver's license.
It actually got taken away. It's kind of a weird, sad story. I don't want to talk about it.
Can't be near high school either.
Yeah,
so.
or Chuck E. Cheese.
We also have, so we're still pumping that Patreon content out. We've got to make some Patreon content today, actually. Now that Mitch is back, we'll be able to put some more content out. So keep subscribing to the Patreon. We'll keep giving shout outs and sending patches and stickers and other goodies.
What kind of goodies?
I was thinking today, I want
Candies?
to make like a sticker pack. You know what I'm
Sticker pack.
saying? Like,
Ooh, yeah.
just-
Can it have candy in it too? Because when you
Sure.
say
Jolly
goodies-
Ranchers are the only candies that I would feel safe sending through the mail.
Let's send
Really?
the gumballs, those big gumballs
From the bachelorette party.
From the
No,
bachelorette
those
party
are
that
not
we had.
sealed, so I will not be sending
Exactly.
those.
That's why we need to get rid of them.
That's why we're gonna put.
Eventually, they're
them
gonna go bad. We gotta get rid of them.
Do you think we can put razor blades inside there?
I think we
I
can
know we
inject
can.
it with something.
If we, yeah.
We
I
can-
just got back from Air Force combatives. I learned how to put knives and shit in everything.
If we ever send you a cake, check inside before you eat it.
Or just send it straight to your felon brother who's in jail.
Yeah.
The contents will be useful.
There's a knife baked inside. So yeah, our Patreon content will be putting out some more content hopefully this week.
We have some potential. I won't mention any names, but we have some potential guests, some
Yes.
high-profile guests that may be
High profile.
High
Oh my
profile.
God.
high profile.
Big time.
Wow.
Mhm.
Quiver.
So we're working to actually get some pretty legit guests coming in.
If you know anybody too
Yeah.
that would be good to be interviewed, we're kind of trying to branch out into
Yes.
a little bit right now. Like we're really trying to explore the hardcore and metal scene, and the cultural crossover between those two, because it's really big, and we just don't feel like anybody talks about it. So
Agreed.
if you know anybody from those worlds, send
Or
them
if you
our way.
have a friend or family member that is considered to be a subject matter expert, preferably a legitimate subject matter expert from an interesting career field or an interesting walk of life, send them our way. We'd love to talk to them about it. You know, if you've got a former cousin that worked at Area 22 or something like that, you know, like that,
former cousin that worked at Area 22,
like send them our way, dude. We'd love to ask them some questions about aliens. Or
be
even
so
something in the
sweet.
science world, you know, if you got somebody that like their job is to listen to some shit through an oscilloscope or something. I don't know.
What is that? Oscilloscope?
Yeah, an oscilloscope.
There have been a lot of new words this episode.
They're all
They're all
legitimate.
a lot of
Mitch.
sentences, a lot of sentences that have never been spoken happened on this episode.
You don't know what an oscilloscope is? You're a scientist.
Like a stethoscope?
No, that's a stethoscope.
What's an oscilloscope?
I don't know how to spell it. I can't look it up because I can't spell
is
it.
that the
It's
the
a
ear thing?
no. You're talking about like the one that was shaped like a cornucopia that old people used to use.
Yeah.
No, that's not what an oscilloscope is.
Oscilloscope. Wow.
Hold on.
Wow.
I don't know how to spell it, so I
I
can't.
want to
Oh,
know
there we
what
go.
it is.
All right, an oscilloscope is. How much does it cost? I can tell you that.
Fascinating.
Here we go. Previously called an oscillograph is a type of electronic test instrument that graphically displays varying signals, voltages, usually as a two-dimensional plot.
What does that mean?
So
Like a-
sound waves and stuff.
What's it used for?
I just told you.
I don't understand. Like, what is it like?
Why would you need to use that?
Yeah, and how do you know about this?
Why do you know?
I've done a
about
lot of reading the past
oscilloscope?
week, if you haven't noticed.
About oscilloscopes.
No, oscilloscopes
Is
display
this like
the
a
change.
polygraph test or something?
No, oscilloscopes display the change of an electrical signal over time with voltage and time as the X and Y axes, respectively on a calibrated scale. The waveform can then be analyzed for properties such as amplitude, frequency, rise in time, time interval, distortion, and others.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
like-
something that we would never use in our whole lives.
Mm-mm.
So it's a science.
I don't even know what I brought it up about.
Okay.
I don't know.
bye.
That was like 30 minutes ago.
confused. I've been trying to end this episode for the past 30 minutes.
I don't remember when I.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah. That's,
Mitch always
yeah,
has to
good
open
luck.
his mouth again.
That's
and
right.
Go on a oscilloscope.
That's
around.
right, ladies and gentlemen. Daddy's back.
God.
Patreon, Instagram. We have our Instagram that you can check out as well.
Mhm.
And awesome, sweet memes on there.
Go check out our sponsors.
We have sponsors.
Nope, but we're wanting some.
Oh, we could have just left it at that. Go check out our sponsors.
And cut.
And that's the end of the episode. Yeah. So if you're interested in sponsoring us, give us an email.
You know
or
who you
hit us
are.
up on Instagram. And by
I will say this.
Oh no.
Here's what I'll say.
God.
If
you don't even know what you're gonna say.
no, yeah, I just want to know how I gotta figure out how I'm gonna say it. So
Oh,
typically entrepreneurs are known for being risk takers, alpha males or females, right? And yet they're still afraid to approach us.
Yeah.
So my PSA to all of those sponsors out there who are waiting to figure out if this is the right move, I think you know the answer.
I think so too.
Thank you, Mitch. For
And-
that.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. That added so much value.
So take that risk Right? Somebody had to take a risk on you one day, right? Or else you wouldn't have been a famous business.
This is the best motivational speaking I've ever heard.
Do you have some music that you can play in the background while I'm giving this speech?
Oh, absolutely. Keep going.
Like,
Keep going.
so...
Oh my god.
I'll get you queued up. Go ahead.
If you play the John Cena thing, I'm going to... Not that that's not a motivational song. Not that doesn't want to make me push a car up a hill.
Right.
But no, but seriously, if you've got money and you want to give it to us so that we can talk about your product, your brand, your business, or whatever. All right, we're now at what, 17 and a half fans? So
yeah, we're getting.
You might want to get on board now because we're only going to keep going up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our engagement's actually surprisingly high, and I think we're doing well for where we're at. So if you're interested, I think that we can. I want somebody who I can fully endorse.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want sponsors. I don't want money. I want people that are gonna help.
No, we want money.
Yeah,
we do.
I do want money.
Sorry, Johnny's wrong.
But I want money by doing it.
We want to support
people that I support.
Yes,
and that I
absolutely. You know. And I think that's something that we'll
support you no matter what you do. Give us some money.
So I know that there's the KKK is listening, and we're not going to accept your money.
We're not.
Sorry.
Really?
Johnny won't, but I will.
Oh no, I don't.
No, I'm just kidding.
That. They could be, I guess. There's like.
Yeah, they got splinter cells everywhere.
Yeah, Russellville's like a hotbed for it.
Yeah, it is. I think Damascus might be too.
Why don't we talk about that one day, but not now?
We should. I kind of want to bring like one of them in and just talk with.
Just to get their point of view.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I don't care. I mean, like.
I think they would have a problem with me being in the room.
Probably. Yeah.
So,
well,
we don't have to tell them. I'll bet you if you didn't say anything.
I'm going to say I'm a Jew.
There were
nice
those
to meet
people.
You.
There were people at Golden
I didn't know
Corral.
that about you.
There were people at Golden Corral that they had like one had like white pride on the back of his arm,
Good for him.
did he have a swastika or something?
That was the first time like I had come to Conway.
Yeah.
That's fairly overt.
Our first mistake was we went to Golden Corral.
Yep.
And
with
then
your mom.
Yeah, his wife looked like she had her arm cut off.
Angie?
Yeah, good old Angie.
Yeah, I think she did. She had like some sort of nub situation.
Yeah, no, she did. It looked like they cut their own. Like they did it.
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and
so it was
like,
a hack job.
Getting mashed potatoes. Yeah. But they would not stop staring at her.
At your mom?
No, at Lizzy.
At Lizzy? You don't look Iranian.
Apparently to them I did.
You look fairly ordinary and generic.
Yeah.
Whenever
what the general population would say.
Whenever you
Conway.
hate a group so much, you start to their features. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
like,
was
you know
with
what to
you,
look
and you're
for.
like super white looking, so they're
That's
probably
true.
like.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They're
Probably
I
thought it
are
was
a couple.
You might have
because you have blonde hair and blue eyes, just like me.
Yeah.
No big
We
deal.
might be the same person.
No big deal.
You have white eyebrows though.
So
I
do
thought
I.
we were
Yeah,
supposed
I
to
do.
wrap this up.
All right, great episode.
Johnny's plucking
Catch
at his eyebrows.
Catch
He's
us
like
next
super-
Monday. Straightening out my eyebrows right now. Catch us next Monday on the next episode.
Yeah, dude.
Peace out.
All right,
Bye.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
We're not ending on that.